In Maya, there are various ways to create a tire tread. The first way I'm going to teach you is to actually create the pattern, to lay it out flat, and then to combine that pattern. So let's say the pattern shape is going to look like um, that. I don't know. You're going to repeat this pattern, and when you repeat it enough, we'll flip it over and offset it. And then from that offset, we'll use the bend tool to make it complete. Alright, so I'm going to import the image plane into side view, and always my luck, Maya decides to crash. So 2018 is a little bit buggy. I don't know why. Maybe it's just it hasn't been perfected. Lots of bugs. So just wait for us to load. Now I found the image online. I just typed in tire tread. So if you go to Google, if you don't have an idea for your tire tread, then you could use the one I'm drawing, or you could just type in tire tread. There's lots of really good examples. Okay, this is the one I'm going to use on the right. Okay, so now that I'm in my, let's go to my top view. Alright, I go to my top view. So I go to View, Image Plane, Import Image. And I downloaded that image in my folder, Vehicle Design, Source Images, Tire Prints. Okay, so I'll scale this guy up a little bit larger. There's a watermark here, but it's fine for now. I'm going to align this tire tread to the center of my axes. Alright, so that's the center line of my axes. And I'm going to use the Create Polygon tool to trace that shape. Or you could use a polygon cube. It's up to you. So in this case, I'll just use the Create Polygon tool. And the shape that I'm obviously trying to get is that silhouette, but I like to break these shapes into like points of reference. So if I were to draw something like that, because I know I will have to use a multi-cut tool to create a quad. So this is just a visual reference for me to create smooth edges. And so I want a quad right there. I'll add another vertex right there so that it creates a really nice quad. That edge looks like it's going to smooth, so I'll add another. And looks good so far. I'll actually put 1, 2 right there. Okay, so that's my reference. I'll go to Mesh Tools, Create Polygon Tool, and you always want to start counterclockwise because then it creates the normals facing the right direction. If you create this clockwise, you can see that it turns black, which means the normals are facing the wrong direction. So I'll start here, and make sure that you don't move your camera, because if you move your camera, then the points aren't going to be perfectly aligned. I might have to bevel some things, but as for now, this is basic shape. And if I press 4, I can see it in wireframe mode, and it still allows me to see those points. So here we go. That's my image, and like I said, if you move your camera, then that grease pencil is going to stay the same proportion. So erase that. I'll put this on its own image plane, on a layer, and hide that image plane. And now we're going to get to work. Alright, so this is my shape. I'll press 5. I can clean up a few edges, but for now I'm just going to use a multi-cut tool. So Mesh Tools multi-cut. And I'm going to create my quads. Press Y. That's it, one right down the center. Press Y. Here. There. One more here. Right there. And let's see. I'll add one straight through. Actually, right there is perfect. And then I'll bring this guy straight up. Actually, you know what? Let's see. Let's bring it here. And straight to the top. Press Y, and then this last one right here. Okay, so pretty simple. All right. If I wanted to change the vertices, right mouse click, go to component mode, and just try to align them the best you can. Take that one, bring it in. Almost looks like a shoe or like a sock, right? Yeah, looks like a sock. Something you hang over your chimney. Right? Christmas sock. But it's not a Christmas sock, right? It's like a stocking. Yeah, okay, but a stocking looks like a giant sock, but it's just thicker. A Christmas sock? You've never seen Christmas socks before?
No, but like the term Christmas sock?
Okay, the term Christmas sock is off. Okay, I admit. I've been stumped. Okay, so this is my basic shape. Anytime you create, use a create geometry or create polygon tool, Maya is always going to put your manipulator tool in the center of the axes. So let's just go to modify center pivot. There's my object. All right, perfect. So I'll press Control E, add some thickness, and then from here you can do anything you want with the shape, whether you're using insert edge loop tools or you want to bevel the outside. I'm going to keep it pretty basic. So I'll extrude one more time, I'll bring it up, and then I'll change the offset so that there's a little bit of like curvature here. And then I'll select the center faces right here to bring it up like that. So if there's a little bit of some curvature. All right, straightforward. And if I wanted to add, a design to this, I'll just select these guys here. Control E. I'll change the offset again. And I will bring it down one time. And then one more. Like that. And I'm changing my camera around to make sure that the faces aren't intersecting. And I will add one more edge loop here so that when I press 3 it smooths out really nice. Okay, perfect. Now I'm going to delete all the faces underneath. All right, so I'm just going to make a highlighted selection, hold shift and deselect what was highlighted and highlight what wasn't selected. I'll press delete. And now I will double click on the outside edge here. Control E. I'll move it out a little bit like this. And that looks good for me. Okay. So we turn the wireframe unshaded on, and that's what I get. Okay. Yes. All right. So symmetry is actually a really important thing now that I'm actually after I created this thing. We might have to tweak a few of the vertices. So I'll press Control D. I'll move it up like this, and you can see it's not perfectly aligned. So I have to change some things up. So let's do that. I said I was going to make it easy. I realize it's a little more complex than what I was intending it to be. So we just have to connect these two, and I'll take this one, Control D, and move it down like this. All right. So let's get to work. It's like that vertex. I'll hold V and snap it here. Let's see. Hold V, snap this one here. And then snap this guy here. These guys are going to share that center axis. And let's just do this. Vertex. I'm holding V to align this. Yes, and I'll merge them after. So this one goes here. I'm holding V. This one goes here. And this one goes here. I'm holding V. Selecting this guy. Hold V. Okay. V, snap it here. All right. Now, what I'm trying to eventually do, right, is create an object that is going to be combined, and the faces and the vertices are going to be merged together. I'm actually going to redo do the same exact thing, but with a polygon cube, because I know that the tutorial is going to be a little bit longer, and I'll come back to this later to show you what that's going to look like. I'll simply create a polygon cube, and I think that this will be a little bit easier in demonstrating what I am trying to demonstrate. So I'll just use it. Insert Edgeloop. I'll make the shape a little basic. So same exact concept. I'll select these faces here. Delete. I'll select the bottom edges here. Extrude. Give it a little bit of. Let's change the thickness. And I'm going to align these guys. If I hold shift, I can press R, hold J, snap. It's like these two, hold R, J, and snap these guys. Same thing here, hold J, snap, hold J, snap. And then I'm actually going to snap that to the grid. It's like these two and snap them to the grid. Okay. So I'll take that part of the tire tread, Control E. I'll change the offset once, and then I'll bring it inside like this. And I'll bring it in one more time. Bring it to the right. Maybe I'll make it a little bit smaller. One more time, and I think I'm happy with that shape. Change the offset one more time. Okay. So this is my really generic, really basic shape. If you wanted to bevel, you know, the outside edges, you can, or if you wanted to maybe just change the width of it so it doesn't feel so blocky, you can. And let's say from the top view, you want it to bring these guys over a little bit so it has a little bit different feel, then that's cool. So when I press 3 on this object, it's going to kind of look like that. If you want a harder shape on this object, then you can simply use the Insert Edgeloop tool. You could add one here, maybe towards the outside, right there, and then press 3. So now it has a harder shape. Okay. Okay. So I don't want to use a whole lot of edge loops right now, but let's add one more around the base. One here, and now I'm happy with this shape. Okay. So now I have this shape. It'll be much easier to do what I was trying to do here. Alright, so I'll hold D and V, snap this here. Now I'll press Control D, I'll hold V, and hopefully these guys should align. But if they don't, then this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to select that vertex, press R, hold J, and now they will match perfectly. Okay, so let's try it again. D and V, snap it here, Control D, hold V, and voila. See, the edges are perfectly aligned. Now if I press Shift D, it's going to create multiple tire treads. Okay? Alright, so now that I have these tire treads, I'm going to highlight, I'll go to Mesh, Combine. I'm actually going to save this because I know how fidgety 2018 is. So vehicle design, scenes, and this is called this tire tread underscore 001. Okay, so now that I have this shape, I'm going to hold D and then V and snap my manipulator tool to a point. Last but not least, I'm going to duplicate this and then rotate it 180 degrees. Oops, come on. Yeah, it was just a different angle. All right, so you can see everything aligns here. And if we want to, we could offset this. You know, but offsetting it would actually not allow for the vertices to align properly. So I'm good with this. Okay. Let's see. If you did want to offset this, let me see if we could do that. I'll go to face. I'll highlight these faces there. And we could push these guys over. Oops. Hold shift and press period. And now I can move it over a little bit. That's as much as I can offset it. All right. There we go. That looks nice. Okay. So now we take these two. We go to mesh, combine, and last but not least, I'm going to save again because I know how 2018 works. Select the geometry, deform, nonlinear, and then bend. Okay. So in the bend tool, so I'm in the attribute editor. You could do this in a channel box, but I know in the channel box for me, changing the curvature is not very friendly. So I'll click on the curvature, I'll drag it, and you could see this little green curve here. It's facing the wrong direction. So if I have it selected, press E, and I'm holding J because I want it to discretely snap it, which means at like 45-degree angles or 15-degree angles. Right, so this is what we get. And now I want to hold J again and rotate it that way so it's completely flat. Okay. And then I can change the curvature to 180 degrees. So obviously you could see I'm off one tire tread, which is not bad at all. I just press delete on the curvature. Let me close that. I'm going to select, come on, select that one face here, select this face here, and I'm going to press shift period, and what that's doing is it's growing the selection. Okay. So now I have these faces selected. I'm going to hold shift, right mouse click and hold, and find the duplicate face. That duplicate face is also found under edit mesh, and then right there, duplicate. So I just duplicated those objects there. I'll go into object mode, and voila. So I have that shape here. So I go to modify center pivot. I'll hold D and V to snap the edge, and I'll bring it over like that. And I have this guy here, so modify center pivot, D and V, not DMV, right? D and V. And now we'll move this guy over one. Okay, so I'll go back to mesh, combine. I'll go to mesh, edit mesh, merge to make sure that those new piece of geometry have a perfect seam, like a weld. And now we'll go back to the deform, nonlinear, bend. Go to my attribute editor, Control A is a shortcut. And again, I'll change the curvature to something where it allows me to see the shape change. I'll press E, I'll hold J to bring it towards me, that C shape. And then I'll hold J again to snap it like that. And last but not least, I'll change that to 180 degrees. And look, we get the same pressing issue. Let me see if I could change that to 190. And there we go. So this is our tire shape, right? I probably could have done this earlier. I think what I just did by adding another tire tread was a little bit of a maybe a little, I guess it was a little bit of a waste, but it's also maybe a bit challenging for some of you guys. So to go back one step, I would not have done that and just change the curvature to 190 degrees. Okay. Now I'm going to, I see right there at that seam, it's not completely perfect. So let's try 185. Let's dial it down. 186. 188, 189, and there we go. Now, I do want to make sure that these vertices are perfect. So manually, I'm going to select that seam, go to Edit Mesh, Merge to Center. I'll press 4 to make sure that I'm selecting that inner seam. I'll press G. Thank God I don't have to do multiple vertices, otherwise this would be a nightmare. So I'm just looking at it in the wireframe to make sure that I'm not selecting any other vertice. I'll press 5 to make sure that it's that center seam. I'll press G, which is repeat previous command. I'll select this guy. I'll hold Shift and select that one. I'll work my way all the way through. And yes, I don't have to select one at a time. Okay. So now that I know that I've selected all of the vertices right down the center, I'm just going to go to Edit Mesh, Merge. And now when we press 3 on this object, voila, really nice, okay? This object still has history, so if I move it up, it's going to grow because of the bend tool. All right. If I move that tool left or right, it can almost like be animated, but you'll also see that it's going to unwrap it. So I'm simply going to delete it, and then look what happens, right? So that's not the right way. We want to select the geometry, go to Edit, Delete by Type, History. So now we have this shape. It's a little more custom. It's a little flat right in between. Okay, so we can do a few things to change that. All right, we can, let me just get rid of my attribute editor, turn the music down a little bit. We can select all of the center faces here. I'll press Control to deselect some things. I can press R and then move these guys in a little closer if I wanted to. All right. If I wanted to, let's say, give it a little bit of use a girth or something, like make it kind of round towards the center, I can do that. All right. It's up to you what the shape and design is. And I can select this outer edge. So let me press 1, double click, and it selects this edge ring, but you guys are noticing that right here it selected the edge ring on the outside. So that tells me that this seam, see that right there? It's not connected. All right, so I'll go to Vertex, I'll press 1, and then I'll go to Merge Vertices, Merge to Center, and when I press 3, so sometimes you will find these little strange divots, and it looks like I accidentally deleted a face right there. I'll come back to that. And when you press 3 in this soft selection, it really does allow you to see where some mistakes are. So I go to Merge Vertices, Merge to Center. That's found under Edit Mesh Merge to Center. It doesn't want to cooperate. So I'll hold V, snap here. It's like both of them. Edit Mesh Merge. Okay, perfect. And look, I got one more little mistake right there. So right there, Edit Mesh Merge. So when I press 3, okay, my seam is perfect. At least I think it is. So there's still a little bit of an issue there. I'm going to hold Control to deselect all of those guys. In a perfect world, I would get just edge loop around the outside. The reason why I'm spending so much time on this part is because I want to extrude, move it in like so. If I press 1, then it's probably a little bit easier for me to see what I'm doing. And when I move it in, you guys can see, not necessarily triangles, but like it's causing this edge here to go a little weird. So I'm going to change the offset, and then the offset is doing something weird too. The local Z, there we go. That looks much better. All right. If I click on that little guy and scale it down, see? There we go. That looks nice. All right. So I do this. I'll bring it to the right to give it a little bit more roundness. I can go to the Insert Edge Loop tool, add an edge loop here, round that off a little bit more. And then if you wanted to create like a rim or something on the inside, you can do that very simply. I'm going to go into my side view. I'll press 4. I'll create an EP curve. So create curve tool, EP curve. And I will start it off right there. I'll just do like this really simple shape. I'll bring it down like that. And I will bring it up to about here. That point. Press enter. Take that control vertex and snap it to that curve like that. Where's my EP curve? Right. Modify center pivot. Bring it over. I'll hold D and then C to bring this guy up. I'll go into my front view. Make sure my tire is snapped to that. That snapped to here. And let me get my EP curve. Let's see here. There's 3 on this guy. And so D, I'll hold X to snap it there. And now I'm going to do a revolve. Surfaces revolve option box. I'll evolve it on the x-axis, per span number of isoparms, quads, general, and there we go. Okay. Looks more of a hubcap, yes. But the cool thing with that curve is that we can change the shape to be anything we want. I'll press 4, press 5. You can push that in. And then you can take that geometry, select the edge loop. I'm sorry, well, the faces, yes. But the Control E, push that in, change the offset. And then with Maya 2018, you can make quads into circles. So I could select those guys, those guys, those, those, those. A few more. I'm almost there. And those. And then under the edit mesh, it's a circularize. So where are you at? Circularize, circularize. Edit mesh. Mesh tools. Crease. All right. I can't find it there. But is this 17? 18 is 18. All right. So let me go into the Maya Classic, Windows, Workspaces, Reset, and it's this tool right here. This one. No, this one. Oh. Okay. I think I can only do one at a time. No, wrong one. All right. See the circulars? So I can change the size, the offset, the radial twist. Right. And that will help you to, you know, avoid the really nasty, what do you call it, like booleans. You know, when you use a booleans and you try to do the booleans on this surface, it's actually going to cause it to deform really weird. So you can circularize that. You can, you know, push that back, kind of like a hubcap, or where the rim is. Like I said, if you do the booleans, then I would suggest smoothing this out a lot. So maybe one at a time. And then you could use the booleans on this guy. So cylinder, I would hold X, snap it here. Move this guy here. Scale it down a little bit. Change the center pivot. Control D. I'll rotate it at a 45-degree angle. Shift D, Shift D, Shift D, Shift D, Shift D, Shift D. I'll go to Mesh Combine. Select this object, Mesh Booleans, and then Difference. All right? And then you can select those faces. Like that. And then maybe move them back a little bit. And then delete. Okay, so that's using the difference on there. So that's how you create, you know, this kind of custom tire tread. This is probably a little excessive for me. I'd probably bring it down with having a clearer vision or pattern, but that's pretty much how you do it.